It's time to get casually uncomfortable. News Edition with your host, Chuck Jerome. Viewer discretion is advised. Well, happy Wednesday. Happy people. How are you doing? Getting shit done? Having some fun? If you're not, you better get your shit together. That's all I'm saying. All right, it's Wednesday. You know what that means. You heard what that means. So let's get into this shit. All right, so on Monday, I get to work. Buddy of mine shows me this picture, and it is of your president, Donald Trump. And what he's doing is he's laying hands on a guy who, I'll talk about who he suspiciously looks like. But he's laying hands on him to heal him like he is Jesus. And this is a picture that Uncle Donnie posted himself. He said he posted it. And he said that he didn't think that it was him being depicted as Jesus, but as him as a doctor healing people. He said, I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and it had to do with the Red Cross as a Red Cross worker, which I support. That's what he said. And he said, only fake news could come up with that one. Me trying to say I'm Jesus. What? Why would I do that? Listen, folks, each week I become more terrified of living in the United States just for the fact that there could be some extra crazy retaliation because this old fuck is just out of control. Listen, old people have been through a lot of crazy shit, especially the old people now. They've lived through a lot of life changes. And look, this guy's almost 80. And all that means is he's seen some shit, done some shit, and said some wild shit. That's all that means. And listen, he's all about saying something is fake news. So you're telling me that either he's losing his mind or he's just trying to pull the wool over our eyes and we are not buying it. With an AI picture of him being depicted as Jesus. And then him saying, oh, no, I thought I was a Red Cross worker. Dude, shut the fuck up. There ain't no... Listen. You have the wherewithal to even know how to use the fucking internet. You know how many people that are fucking 60, 65, and they don't know how to fucking use their phone. So if this guy can upload a fucking picture, take time to create it, get it, or even just get it created. Hey, email me that. And then they email it to him. He uploads it and he knows what the fuck's going on. And you're trying to say that you don't understand the depiction of this picture? Come on, man. Like, I don't know if you think everybody is just fucking dumb. But there's no way. There's no way. I don't understand it. But then I saw another article, and the reason I said that the guy that he was laying hands on looked suspicious it looks like Jon Stewart, from The Daily Show. Trump and Jon Stewart have gone back and forth for years now. Trump don't like him. And maybe that's his way of saying, hey, I'm going to heal you. I'm going to work on you because I'm a Red Cross worker. Dude, what? You're in a fucking robe. I ain't never seen no Red Cross worker in a robe. You know what I'm saying? Just very, very suspicious. But guess what? I'm going to keep moving on, because I don't want them to be like, hey, you talking about our president? And someone fucking hits me in the head while I'm out on the street, or fucking the FBI starts, there's trigger words. And if you even say, Uncle Donnie, but, not Uncle Donnie, you keep saying his name over and over, then they'll come a knocking like a weird Candyman type deal. So I'm going to keep moving on. Did you hear about this massive brawl in North Carolina, downtown Wilmington, where so much shit was going on, and a Marine died because he got stabbed in the fucking neck? Now, I was scrolling through some stuff, and I think I saw bits and pieces of it, and I didn't know what was going on. Like, normally I'll be scrolling through Twitter or something and then see some crazy video of someone getting beat up or fucking punched or stabbed or shot or something crazy. And, you don't put two and two together until I get to looking at news articles. And this guy got stabbed in the neck, and the police show up, and it says that they were more worried about pepper spraying motherfuckers than saving this guy. And in the video, you see the cameraman panning all around, looking at all the crazy shit going on. And then they pan over to a guy who's like looking for help. He's reaching out for help. And the police are right there. But they're so worried about pepper spraying everybody in the vicinity that they don't go over and help this man. And you see someone run over, put a shirt around his neck, and try and, like a tourniquet. And sadly, this guy did not survive. And you could be like, oh man, there was so much going on that the police didn't know what to do. No. If you are a police officer, that is your fucking job. You need to figure it the fuck out and do it quickly. I have no sympathy for these police officers who don't do their job properly. Lock them up. Get them the fuck off the streets. They think it's a fucking video game. Like, I don't... You're like, oh man, but they're only human. Okay, cool. Get another job. If you're not able to go above and beyond serving and protecting, it's not a fucking gang. You're not the fucking get along gang. This ain't a fucking Western. You're just out with your buddies shooting and looting. Now you're here for a fucking reason. And I just don't, because you see cops all the time. They're just being bullies. And that's some, not all. That's just like anything else in the fucking world. Some, not all. As a cop, you might, these cops honestly probably need a little extra training. But as a cop, you see some, unruly shit going down. You need to be able to inhale, exhale, and fucking focus up. Shit's going down, bucko. This ain't time to do whatever the fuck you think you might need to do. No, you need to know what the fuck you need to do. Steps, orders, do it the right way. And they didn't. And so this guy had to unnecessarily die. They could have been like, oh shit. There's a guy bleeding out. Let's call some ambulance. Some ambuli. Let's get multiple of them bitches out here. I just don't know. And look, don't get me wrong. At one point, I wanted to become a police officer. Every fucking weekend during high school, you knew where I was. I was with the police. I was doing ride-alongs all the time. That is what I wanted to do. And then, I don't know what happened. Then one day I was just like, man, fuck that. It's like, because the bad ones really make it bad for the good ones. The corrupt, the fucking mean ones, the ones that are just looking to pull you over for every little fucking thing. That's not what I wanted to be. I wanted to help people. I didn't want to be running motherfuckers down every day. I want to help. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be a bully. But the bad ones always fuck things up for the good ones. All right, let's keep moving on. So this happened at the end of March. This former Cape Town mayor who's running for mayor of Johannesburg, what she did was she suited up in a wetsuit and went snorkeling in a fucking pothole that hadn't been fixed. Like, she was able to get her whole fucking body into this pothole. That's how deep that bitch was. If your car got in it, you were going to Narnia. Well, actually, no. If it was filled with water, you're going to Atlantis. And that's how she ran her campaign. Hey, listen, I'm going to clean up the streets because guess what? I can get myself in this fucking pothole. And then the current mayor filled the pothole after the video and then told kids, hey, don't try this. Don't do this shit. Right? Like, if the mayor to be, well, actually not the mayor to be because you don't know if she's going to win, but the person running for mayor sees some shit that the current mayor should have taken care of, I think this woman should win. Helen Zilli? I don't know. I'm fucking her name up. But I hope she fucks that other person up in the races. Like, if that was the town that I was in and I saw that shit, I'd be like, look, I'm sign me up for her. She sees the shit that we see, the shit we've been bitching about for the last 6 months. I've had to get 3 new axles on my fucking car. The suspension is shot. It drifts to the right. Tires are expensive. You hit a fucking pothole and that bitch, boom. And guess what? I haven't bought tires in a long time. But I could only, a set of tires is going to be at least, you want shitty tires, you're going to at least pay $600. So if you want them good, long-lasting bitches, well over $1,000. Easy. So I'd be like, look, fix them fucking potholes. So hopefully she gets elected and I can talk about it when she does. Let's keep it moving. All right, this is wild. Cody Roberts was sentenced to 18 months of probation after pleading guilty to felony animal cruelty in a widely condemned 2024 incident. So this guy is out in Wyoming. He hit a wolf with his snowmobile, taped its mouth shut, brought it into a bar, and then killed it. And if you're thinking, wow, that, what? Who's doing that? This guy. This guy did it. He was also fined $1,000 and ordered that he not drink alcohol, enter bars or liquor stores, or hunt or fish while on probation. Again, 18 months probation. Says he avoided up to 2 years in prison and a $5,000 fine by pleading guilty. and that he initially pled not guilty. And they said, look, you hit this thing, that's fine. You know, you know, it's a wild animal. You're out in the wild wilderness. You know, people hit deer and bear and all kind of shit with their car. But then you took this thing, taped its mouth up, and then killed it in the bar. Sir, like, you had to have been piss ass drunk to be doing some shit like that. This is the world we're living in, folks. These are the people that are around you. All right? Craziness. Fucking craziness. And now we move on out to New York. A former... Oh, damn, did you hear that? A former New York cop will spend at least 3 years in prison for killing a man after hurling a cooler at him while he was fleeing arrest on a motorbike. And I saw this video. I was scrolling through, I think, Instagram. And this was in February. Sorry, all of his convictions happened in February. I was reading that wrong. But this happened in 2023. And the guy, the officer, threw the cooler at this guy who was, again, fleeing arrest, hit the guy. He slammed into a tree and then died from his injuries. And it was, you know, one of those standard red Igloo coolers, and it was filled with juice, soda, water, and ice. So he threw a full cooler at this guy. This isn't some kind of fucking cartoon cop bullshit. Like, I like this officer had to have watched a lot of like buddy cop, fucking 80s, 90s cop movies where they could just do dumb shit like that. You know, throw a basket of bread at the person and they'd fucking, you know, wibble wobble around on the bike and then, you know, flip into a trash can and then they'd shut the trash can lid, wrap it up with a chain and then take them straight into custody. No, that's not how this shit works. That's not real life. That's fucking wild, man. Like, killed a guy with a fucking cooler. I mean, can't say glad he didn't shoot him because the guy still died. That's just wild. And like I said, I saw the video and it looked dumb. It was like, that's the dumbest way for some guy trying to get away to die. You know, just I didn't believe it. I was like, holy shit, man! Like this is just bonkers. Didn't even seem real. And this one is the name of the episode, Crazy Bus Driver. Uh, before I saw the article, again, this is another one. I saw the video and it was fucking mind blowing because, hey, this was in Florida and you know anything can happen in Florida. So the bus driver had like 29 kids on the bus. There is an active railroad crossing, bar, deterrent, all that bullshit. And this bus driver said, I gotta get these kids out of here. And then just barely made it across the tracks. In the video I saw, actually, it was two different videos. It was one video of a bystander taking the video from, outside of the school bus, looking at it like, what the fuck? And then later on in the evening, I'm scrolling, I see the video from inside the bus from the kids' perspective. And I'm telling you, I would have walked to the front of that bus and punched that bitch in her head. And then she was trying to tell the police, I was trying to cross and someone was in the way. I couldn't cross. If you couldn't make it across the tracks, don't fucking go. That's the rule. That's how that works. If you're going to be hanging out on the tracks, then you can't make it across the tracks. So fucking stop beforehand. And then they heard her, allegedly, heard her say, I'm not going to stop for no train. You know why I believe it? Because this bitch was on the other side of the train. And you could see the dented in back of the train. The dented in back of the school bus. Dude, that shit was wild. Because you just hear the kids like, what's your problem? Why would you do this? And the train is just whizzing by. Dude, if that school bus was like halfway in on the track, dude, she would be publicly executed. Listen, just go check out the video. Go find it. Go check it out. Shit's wild, okay? That's all I'm saying. Shit is wild. All right, this isn't going to be a super long episode. This is going to be my last article. Don't worry, it's a doozy. So this guy in Oklahoma was, having his bachelor party in a cabin. And he had his friends there, and I guess they weren't expecting anybody else. So they hear a knock at the door, and they see a shadowy figure outside. And the groom goes and gets his gun and fires one fucking shot out the cabin. And then when they go outside to check, they see that it was their friend who, it showed up, or, people aren't sure what happened. Did he just show up? Was he invited late, last minute, whatever? They didn't know what was going on. But the groom just shot. Could you imagine knocking on the door like, hey guys, surprise, I'm here to party. It's a bachelor party. Boom! And shot your friend in the fucking chest, killing him. Like, yeah, he did not survive. And now this guy, who was supposed to be married, is going to jail and charged with second-degree murder. Who the fuck thinks that answering the door with bullets first is the proper response? Now, yeah, look, you're in a cabin. You don't know who the fuck it could be. But I guarantee you, there was enough people there to, subdue whoever you may have thought it was. I just... the world is wild, folks. This is what we're living in. Craziness. When I saw this article, and I was like, all right, this is definitely going to end things up for this episode, because I was reading it and I was like, there's no way. I've been to bachelor parties where I made it late, hours late, still a good time, but I had to work, and I couldn't imagine getting there and them being so drunk or whatever. They're like, hey, who the fuck is this? Oh, they think this is a game, and then they just answer the door with bullets. Like I said, I found some doozies of articles this week, because there's some crazy motherfuckers out there, okay? Them some crazy ones. So be safe. That's all I can say. Be safe, and just leave people alone. That might be the easiest way. Just fucking stay home. Just stay the fuck home. That's the easiest way to do that. Don't go nowhere. Not anymore. Not in 2026. Stay home. All right, let's hit some music. Don't forget, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Casually Uncomfortable, Twitter at Casually Unchuck. Let your friends know. All right, I'll see you next week. Shit's moving, shit's grooving. And I hope it's doing the same for you. All right, now, be safe, have fun, and as always, don't be a piece of shit.